All right, table 5, nonprofits. Susan Leopold, United Plant Savers, Patryk Battle, Living Web Farms, and Marc Williams.
Let's start it off.
Hi, my name is Susan Leopold. I am the Executive Director of United Plant Savers, and we are very thrilled to collaborate on sponsoring the Goldenseal Summit. It's an incredibly diverse group of voices that come at the issue from all different angles, from extension agents to people who are growers to herb companies. United Plant Savers is very dedicated to the conservation, cultivation, and future of our most treasured, iconic American herb, Goldenseal. We launched last year a really great project called Hope for Hydrastis, and our goal is to begin a propagation project at the United Plant Savers Botanical Sanctuary so that we can have a future vision of propagating Goldenseal to be able to provide forest farmers rootstock to be able to grow Goldenseal. Here you are in a small intentional forest grown Goldenseal patch, and as you can see, this Goldenseal right here grew from the tiniest little piece of root. So Goldenseal has an incredible ability to be able to propagate from its roots. So there's no reason other than investing in forest farmers why we can't have a future that's abundant with Goldenseal, and why we can at the same time also invest in forest farmers. We can also protect wild populations.
Hi, this is Marc Williams, and I am the Executive Director of Plants and Healers International, and I am talking to you about Goldenseal, a very near and dear plant to my heart. And in relation to Goldenseal, where I live in North Carolina, it is something that is exceedingly rare. And so a big focus that I've had for quite a while is the potential use of other plants that are related to Goldenseal as analogs that could be used potentially instead of Goldenseal. And within the family that Goldenseal is part of, the buttercup family, there is a plant that's called yellowroot down here, Xanthorrhiza ciplicissima. And that is something that is much more common, is something that tends to run along creeks and stream beds. But even more so than the yellowroot are plants that are from the kind of next family over, the cousin family to the buttercup family that Goldenseal and yellowroot are part of, which are the barberries and the Oregon grapes. And they're in their own family, the barberry family. And some of those are even exotic invasives in certain areas. And one of the compounds that Goldenseal is most famous for, berberine, was actually named after barberry, which is berberis. So that's definitely a big focus that I have when I am trying to educate the public about the potential use of plants that folks are often seeking to use Goldenseal for the various conditions that it's been famously used and employed with. And yeah, if you want to know more about me, what I do, the organization that I work for, Plants and Healers International, has its own website, plantsandhealers.org. And then I also have a sister website to that where I do an online botany class by donation. I have lots of other resources as well, which is botanyeveryday.com. And I really appreciate being part of this forum and this discussion about this very special plant and how we can all come together to conserve it and hopefully have it live on for many generations to come. Thank you.
This is Robert Peet. I'm the president of the North Carolina Friends of Plant Conservation. And our mission is to protect rare plant species across the state and their habitats. And I wanted to say that our organization is very much in support of trying to protect Goldenseal, which is found in very few places, and where it's found it's usually quite sparse, so that the populations are hardly viable. So we would like to do all we can to help protect the species.
Let's hear from Patryk about the Living Web Farm and how that is going to help this program.
Thank you, Robert. Thanks for coming to us to help put this together. It's a great coming together of minds for an important plant. And for an important group of plants, I really love that early comment about how we want the public to learn more about how berberine is present in a lot of plants. And that is an area where Living Web Farms, really comes into its own, is the educational part. For those that don't know us, we are a privately funded farm that mostly works with field crops, but we also are doing some woodland crops. We're doing more and more experimentation with that. And our mission is to find pathways to the future if things like COVID-19 happen. And if COVID-19 has worse ramifications than we are seeing so far, if, for instance, more food processing plants close down, the supply chains are interrupted, our mission is to empower people to be able to grow their own food and medicine. So Goldenseal fits very well into that, But of course, I also want people to learn about yellow root, but likewise, to learn about it in a way that is, regenerative, beyond sustainable, but regenerative.
Yes.
And that's the mission, it's exciting. We're doing this stream restoration. I don't know that Goldenseal is particularly riparian, so that might not fit in, but things like yellow root will. And I'm thinking as we're sitting here doing this that we might want to consider putting together an educational, we do these 6.5 hour all day sessions, and we don't have to do them on our property. We could do them someplace where there's a fair amount of Goldenseal at a time when it can be most instructive, at the harvest time, where it can be demonstrated how to, put that growing tip back in and cover all that stuff, and get as many minds together as possible to make a really dynamic session or two. We don't have a limit on that,
John Stock with United Plant Savers.
Okay.
Welcome.
You're going to ask a question, Robert? You want me to?
Yeah, I'd like you to talk about United Plant Savers' desire to help with webbing Goldenseal.
Referring to us being a home for the database and information all surrounding that you've collected, and being a home for that. Is that what you mean?
Yes. Susan mentioned that United Plant Savers would have a special section or page on Goldenseal, and we could have links there. Especially, I was really impressed with the work that Rural Action did on Goldenseal video on YouTube, to have that part of it, just to put for one place to be where the information is that we can all link to.
Yeah, I think you've summed it up. I think you and Susan talked about that more than I haven't really been in those conversations, but that's the idea, is to that we would host on our website a page dedicated to Goldenseal and associated information. Clearinghouse.
I guess I would add that what Ross was saying, before he was saying it, I was thinking how great it would be if I felt like I could call up Extension and say, come on out, look where I have my 2 sorry Goldenseal plants that have been sitting there for 15 years and one finally flowered this year. And tell me, what's the soil? What about the soil? What about the amount of shade? What factors are influencing why ramps do so well right here, and the Goldenseal is just like sitting there looking at me like, well, you put me here,
Well, all of those are great comments right now. These the people who've been asked to come on this presentation have a wealth of knowledge and have the ability, in my estimation, to move Goldenseal up to the next level. Okay.
Did y'all see that Patricia D had a question? She was asking if Patryk's he tried to cultivate it, like he put it in the ground.
Yes, I did. I actually got rhizomes from Robert years ago and established 14 along the pathway in this one area, all of which petered out over the years. And then I moved them next to the ramps, buying 2 of those expensive 4-inch pots at the herb festival. And they sat there and, you know, had different sizes, different years, but never really done very much. You know? And it's kind of a little just casual experiment area where I put plants in I don't have, like bloodroot and black cohosh and stuff like that. But some do a little better than others, but none of them are really happy there. But the ramps are real happy. So there's something going on.
One thing I might remember from your site, and we could talk about this off of this chat, is that you're pretty flat, and you may need to raise a bed. Yeah,
that could be. Maybe that's it. Yeah, it's totally flat there, yes.
Yeah.
There you go. Oh my gosh, Pat got a gardening tip for forest farming. That's awesome.
I appreciate you.
All right, wonderful. I think it's been a success. We got everyone heard, and I heard so many great ideas, and it really is a nexus here you created today where everything came together. I think a lot of synergy can come out of this. All right.
Thank you all from the bottom of my heart. I love you all very much.